Alright, this is why HiRez fucking sucks. This is just me going over how HiRez chooses to fix things. And I use the term fix very loosely. So, round 1, I will go through round 2 also because it is updated. General bug fixes. Simple design through CC, yeah, this is honestly just as big a problem as the fucking physical lifesteal on abilities. Like, that's just... How do you fuck that up, man? Like, when was that ever changed? When was that ever touched so that these would happen? I don't know, man. Problem not to spawn. That was extremely infuriating. Referring the demon... I don't know what this is. I didn't play with that skin on PTS. I didn't care about skins on the PTS because that's not what the PTS is for. Ethereal Staff. One thing about this item is that, like Soul Reaver, it does not specifically state that it does magical damage or true damage. It just says damage. Chin Size has the same problem, where the Chin Size says takes 4% of the max HP as damage. They take physical damage with Chin Size and it gets mitigated. Soul Reaver says they take 15% of their max HP as damage, and they take true damage. So again, warning error here. Ethereal Stuff says the same thing. It just says, what is it, like 2% of their max HP in damage only applies once per ability. But it was dealing true damage when I tested it against Rod and Odinbot with no pen at level 1, so that's fucking broken also. And they're not saying they fixed it. They just gave it a little nifty cooldown. And 3 seconds is such a small interval that it still only applies on one ability that this does not even fucking matter. But they addressed that in the second one, so that's okay. Stone of Binding, this ability is fucking broken. Because this ability was 1700 gold, gave you CDR, 30 of each prots, and like 20 magical power. And if you hit enemies with a hard CC, you just gave your entire team and yourself penetration. Which is fucking crazy. There's already like 8 items in the game for both tiers that give penetration. So they removed the 10% CDR. Good, definitely good. Its stats is still fantastic for a 1700 gold item. With like one of the best passives for a Guardian in the game. Where Druid Stone, okay, who cares, visual update. Brawler's Beat Stick and Divine Ruin. Why are they reducing this? Why 40? Why 40? You go through and you round all the numbers to 5s or 0s, which is awesome and just looks better, not just for like people with OCD, not literal OCD, and also new players. But then your CDR cap and your CCR caps are still at 40%, because that is a nice even number that rounds out. You know, when you have an 8-second cooldown, oh, it's not a 4-second cooldown now with max CDR, it's fucking 4.8. Yep, because we want to calculate 0.8 seconds with an ability that could save our lives. Same thing with healing now. It was 40% before, which didn't really make any sense, but the idea was that gods in the game, Sobek and Shanga being the main points, already had 50% healing reduction. Now with this 40% means that them by themselves getting Divine Ruin, they could almost stop all healing, but they couldn't stop all healing. Then they made it to this, just recently, so now with all the fucking 6 other items and 10 other gods in the game that have anti-heal, now stacks. Why they just changed this back for no reason, I don't know. Healers are shit because you directly fucking nerfed them. Speaking of healers are shit, Hell, after her rework, I'm using air quotations right now, was complete fucking garbage and was worse than before. She was healing for like 3 a tick. It was 5 a tick, but whatever. Like, healing for 5. 5. That is so useful, man. Big heals. Fantastic. Only heals herself and allies if it hits an allied god. Before, it would do absolutely nothing to enemies. Now it can also deal damage. Oh, so now it's literally still a nerf. Because before, it was you hit an enemy, not just an enemy... Wait. Can now also deal damage to enemy gods. So does it still hit minions? I don't think it does. So, before, you could hit an enemy, as in a jungle camp, fire giant, a god, and it would heal you. Which was, honestly, a pretty damn good ability, and was some pretty decent burst from stance switching to using Dark Stance 3, Dark Stance 1, stance switching, and then Light Stance 1. It's a fuck ton of damage. But now, before you would heal off of that, now, not only are these, like, fucking identical damage numbers, different scaling, I think, though, from original. Now it's just, oh, you don't heal. You only heal if you hit an allied god, which is far more difficult to do, seeing as how it's a skill shot, and your teammates 9 times out of 10 are more idiotic than your enemies. So they're always going to run just out of range of this. So not only does that hurt them, like if it was just a heal that healed them, that would be okay. But if you hit an enemy, then it would heal you. But no, you only get healed by this if it hits an allied god. So it's still fucking useless. I do believe Divios was the one that said that a far better strategy for this is if it hit something, it would heal you. It didn't matter what it was. It still wouldn't do any damage, but if it hit an enemy god, it would stun them for 1 second. That's a far better and actually a more reworked ability than just, oh, we nerfed it to the ground and now we're changing it so that it looks better than the version that we nerfed, but is still technically worse than the original ability. Inspire now heals for more than 5. Now it's actually decent level 1 ability because it also gives you the fucking amazing movement speed. Now at level 1 you always pick up Repulse Inspire, which is, I mean, you did before, but like, not with this shit. 30 per tick plus 30% of your magical power is still fucking, like, what? Dude, you heal for 180, dude. Dude, that's so awesome. Look at that. Look at that number! B5, this is, again, just a straight nerf for no fucking reason. Oh, we gave her, like, 20 of each protection. She's better now, but we cut her mana in half when she's a spamming character. Do note that this also gives half to... This is actually pretty significant, because this is now giving 17.5 MP5 to all characters fairly close to her at all times. So, that's actually pretty decent. Yeah, I don't know why they just rework... Like, just make it so that it doesn't heal as much, but then it, like, makes them move faster and makes them, like, attack... Because it's Inspire. So maybe you make them move faster and you make them attack, you increase their attack speed. And then you can heal for like a little bit more than 180. Like, this is fucking ridiculous, man. One thing about this though, that the healing per tick, is that it constantly refreshes buffs. Now the round 2 is kind of insane. Start timer, start 30 seconds less, but they didn't change the jungle camp, so now you're just taking 30 seconds away from us on the PTS, which is when this should be like 3 minutes, so that we know how fucking long, so that we have enough time to like actually look at the new fucking items and know what to buy and see what kind of routes we're going to take. But now we just have 30 seconds less to do that, so we just fuck around for a minute and a half, frantically trying to decide what starter items to get and shit. I don't know, man. This whole jungle spawning when minions meet is just so fucking... It's boring. Yeah, it's great for new players, because now we just copied League of Legends and go, hey, you just walk into your lane. At least for top and mid. You just stand at your tower and wait for minions to come, and then... I mean, it's better to stand in the jungle so the enemies don't see you, but you get my fucking idea. It's fucking boring as fuck. Jungle camps, blah 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 blah. They are now not as tanky. Thank fucking God, dude. When they first spawned, harpies were easier to kill. Buffs were slightly more difficult. And elementals were fucking almost impossible. Not literally almost impossible, but if you were level 1, you couldn't clear an elemental camp. Unless you're like fucking Anubis or Thor or something. Now they're not as difficult to kill. So, you know, that's alright. Elder Elemental, this is just a direct nerf to Bakasur. It gives you, with Boomba's Mask, 50 gold. You get 60 from a Cyclops buff monster, so that is simply incorrect in that one stat alone. And I'm pretty sure if I scroll down to the fucking patch notes, I could find the Ellie health and the Cyclops health and find that they're different. But, why is this here? Who's gonna know this? In his kit, it literally says a non-buff jungle monster. He can eat it instantly. What if someone just boots up the game? They just downloaded it. They pick Bakasur. He looks fucking sick. They like how they play with their basic attacks and shit. They go up to a fire elemental and go, oh, it's not holding a buff. I can eat it. And they start spamming too, and nothing happens. Where is it explained this inside of his kit? Where? Will it be specifically stated so that people that only play Arena and Assault will go, oh, I can only eat the Fire Elemental at 33% health? What does that even fucking mean? Where's the Fire Elemental? Why is there a map-specific kit function inside of a god? Which is something you should always avoid doing, which is fucking stupid. Gods, Hercules, after they completely ruined him, they still refused to just slightly reduce maybe some cooldowns and maybe buff some stats. No, they're just gonna fucking break his 3 even more because fucking retarded. Before, his 3 would take like, at 400 health, it would take like over a minute and a half to heal to full. Which is fucking stupid. Now it heals instantly. Okay, before it would heal for 170 at max rank. It would heal for 175 instantly, 175 over time, taking by 35, and would give 30 prots for 5 seconds, or 4 seconds. Completely useless ability. Completely useless. And this ability is also completely useless, even though they changed a little bit. It will immediately heal... I thought I said how. It will now immediately heal Hercules for a fairly significant portion. 220 health is actually pretty significant. Seeing as how you're leveling this second, so at level like 13, you're gonna have this maxed. So that's a pretty big deal. It applies a protections buff. If it was just this, it would be pretty bad, honestly, but it would still be bearable. But then HiRez has no fucking idea how their fucking game works, so then they try to make it feel like the old heal, but then still be shit like the new heal. At the end of the 4 seconds, Hercules will instantly heal back 70% of the damage he took during the 4 seconds. You know, that sounds pretty good. I mean, it's not as good as the old one where it's like, what is it now, 80%? Before it was like 120%, it was fucking broken. But, you know, and it's both instant instead of 2 heal over times. If they made this a heal over time and then made this instant, that would be pretty fucking good. But they're both instant. But the problem is, you gain protections during that 4 seconds. So, during these 4 seconds, and you get a huge massive heal that allows you to take damage, during that 4 seconds, you want to be taking as much damage as possible so that you get the most amount of heal out of this. But it gives you protections during those 4 seconds. So when you want to be taking the most damage so that you can heal more and make this number bigger, you're going to be taking less damage. Unless they have max pen and fucking sunder and fucking protection reduction so that you have 0 protections. But like, just the contradictions in this one ability is just fucking retarded. HiRez has no idea what they're doing, man. Oh boy, Janus is finally getting nerfed because his 2 does insane amounts of damage, his 1 is on an insanely low cooldown, his 3 does everything in the fucking game, and his passive gives his 2 even more damage. His ult is not only a fantastic snipe, but can also get him out of literally any situation in the game, and can dropship his entire team to anywhere on the map instantaneously. What are we doing? Only nerfing his ult by 20 seconds, moving on. Fantastic. Good job, HiRez. Totally paying attention to where attention needs to be paid. Typhoon, bonus damage, who cares, it's only 100 even at max rank, who gives a fuck, you're not even leveling it anyway. Hand of the Gods, not damage jungle bosses, yay! What is it, 300 plus 10, or is it 400 plus 10 per level? So you do like, max 600 damage. Fucking fantastic. We were having troubles with the, what was it, I think it was 900 when they first reworked Wrath. We were having fucking, like, professional players were having extreme troubles finding the exact amount of damage with the 900. Now, it only does 600. So good fucking luck trying to secure any jungle boss with Hand of the Gods. Go fuck yourself. Sunder, who cares? Like, 15%, that's what it probably should have been to begin with. 30% is fucking crazy. The damage is still amazing. Now, I actually, what is it, 30 plus 12, and now it's 40 plus 14? I liked how it increased the damage. I just didn't think it should have increased the damage by that much. This is still a fairly decent upgrade, I do think, if I'm just thinking of different numbers. But still, Sunder is still fantastic. Anybody who says differently, just fucking ignore them, man. Use Sunder before to make them take additional damage. Like, this straight up counters Shell. Like, first off, on one person, but, I mean, you can get multiple Sunders. You can get it on literally any class, and it's useful. Because on a support, you can just Sunder someone, and it's like a mini Nemesis ult. And it does fucking true damage. Anyway, Rallying Ritual was bugged to all hell, and you couldn't teleport to someone if they were getting damaged. Yeah, if the destination god. That's fucking stupid. The only time you would ever want to travel to someone, it would be like you just respawned at the tail end of a team fight, or your teammates want to go do Fire Giant, so you teleport to the tankiest god, and they would get hit once by the Fire Giant, and then you wouldn't be able to teleport 750 gold down the drain. Wind Demon! It's fucking broken, because now it gives 30% attack speed, 20% crit chance, and 40 physical power. It's just fucking... like, why? Why? Wind Demon was already, like, the best crit item in the game, even versus Deathbringer, because it gave you attack speed. And when you crit, it was okay, when Wind Demon first came out, and even still now, it's a combination of Old Rage and Deathbringer, where Deathbringer made your crits hit harder, or made you do more damage, essentially, and Rage made it so that you crit more often. Wind Demon, when you crit, it gave you attack speed, so you crit more often, and because you have more attack speed, you're doing more DPS, and it also gave you a shit ton of power. Now they're like, oh, now it gives you fucking attack speed more than Hasten Fatalis, fucking... all 4 attack speed item, only meant for attack speed characters? Oh, this item is meant for just crit. Let's tone down the power. Right. Because that's what you need to do. Fucking insane, dude. Like, Ikaival gives you 30% attack speed and is an absolute... like, I don't know, man. This is just fucking stupid. Items made for attack speed characters have less attack speed on them than Wind Demon does. Like... fucking stupid. Soul Eater. Soul Eater is fucking retarded, just in of itself, because it has stats that are not only complete garbage, but if they weren't complete garbage, they would only really be useful on a Guardian or a Warrior, but its passive is completely turned towards, like, Hunters and auto-attack based characters, or some Assassins. You heal 3% of your max health. I believe it's just max health, not max mana. Yeah, it's the ability one for physicals, and it's the Shaman's Ring that do both health and mana. This one only does health. I think. But this is like, you're nerfing it. What? Put too much overall, so you're bringing it into a better spot at 2%. Okay, that's fine, but like, how about we actually make the stats useful on the item? That sounds good. Instead of just making this an item, what is it, 1900 gold that you're only buying for a fucking passive? That's ridiculous. Talisman of the Relentless. This is hilarious. This is one of the rare times where HiRez is like... actually, it's not. It's one of the very often times HiRez goes, it's too hard, we give up. They did the same thing with Golden Bow. They did the same thing with Old Gauntlet of Thebes. We did the same thing... HiRez did the same thing with, what was the most recent one? I don't know. They've done it a bunch of fucking times. Servant, turn into Magi's Blessing. It gave comparable stats to Bulwark of Hope, if not better stats, with 20 CCR, 200 health, and 60 magical protections. Bulwark of Hope gives 60 magical protections, like 250 health and 20% CCR, and was like 400 gold more expensive. So this item was just better than Bulwark. But Bulwark gave a health shield when you got low. This item gave you a stacking buff that at 3 stacks, you build a stack and you got hard CC'd. At 3 stacks, you would become CC immune for 1 second. So, for characters like Tyr, or like other warriors that wanted a good magical defense item alternative to Pestilence, because usually if you want magic defense in the solo lane, you would just pick up Pestilence because it gave you a fuck ton of defenses, even if they didn't have a single healer on their team. Now this item, you could have got that instead. And then, not only that, but its passive was pretty niche, but it was still a pretty damn good passive. Like I said, diving the backline when you have 3 stacks, knowing you have 3 stacks, that you'll be CC immune for the next Tusky that comes through or something. Nope, they thought it was too hard, so they just fucking took it out. Nice, HiRez, that's some problem solving there. Unfortunately, it was confusing. It was not confusing. It wasn't that hard to use effectively. Moving it for now, that's just like... other ideas for items, like taking completely good items and completely reworking them. Fucking ridiculous, man. Like Rage! Speaking of decent items and just completely reworking them for no reason, Rage was... at first, it was 100% buy on every hunter, because crit was just so good because of Rage. You basic attack, if you don't crit, you get 10% more crit chance, so it's just more crit. And it gave you 30 power and 30% crit chance, which are some damn good stats, and it only costs something like 2,400 gold. Then they made the price increase, then it was like, okay, it's not as good anymore, but you know, it's still pretty damn good for higher crit chance, you just get crit later in the game. Then they made it so that it only had 20% base crit chance, and then when you crunch the numbers, it's just more DPS effective to just get pen and attack speed. So then crit builds were just completely out, and then Wind Demon came out, and so on and so forth. Then they decided, instead of just making it a little bit cheaper, or making it so that it has 30% crit chance again, or, I don't know, making the stacks last longer on the passive, we're completely reworking it for no fucking reason, because we don't know how the fucking game works, even though we made it. They made it cheap as all hell, which is, you know, okay, but you only get a passive from this by killing an enemy. Like, that is so specific. As a hunter, you're not necessarily going to be killing everyone every game unless it's like a bronze level game or like casuals where like people run at you at half health with no mana and no fucking relics one at a time when you're a 12-0 Artemis. Like, this is an arena. Like, when would this benefit anything? Like, in professional matches where there are like 20 games in total in like a 30-minute match, when would this ever be useful? You get 10% crit chance for killing someone. That is not good in the fucking slightest. Like, the risk versus reward, you have to all-in someone to kill someone so that you can get 10% crit chance. That's fucking fantastic, guys. You did good. Item is definitely useful. War Flag is fucking broken. People were saying that was bad when they're just idiots. True, it does not give you bonus gold that Watcher's Gift gives, but it not only you, it was like Travelers and Watchers put together without the gold involved. It gave you movement speed, and the attack speed is negligible, we don't care about attack speed. It gave you movement speed, 3% for 3 seconds. So that was 18% movement speed after just watching someone clear a wave. So then you have double boots, which is better than Travelers, albeit for 3 seconds. You can then rotate into the jungle and then be somewhere where you wouldn't be to leech more from the duo lane, from the soul laner doing his blue or something like that. This alone is decent. It also heals for 5 health and mana everyone around you. So when you're 3-man grouping in mid as the I don't know if you're still going to be doing that now because everyone's just wandering as 2 players. As the support, the mid, and the jungler in mid, and you had this item, you would be healing everybody for 30 health and 30 mana. And that's on top of the support having Watcher's Gift. That's on top of the mage maybe having Vampiric Shroud, which is good now. Like, that's a fuck ton of sustain, man. And now, you're giving this movement speed to all allies within range, and even more importantly, this item's even going to be good in the late game, because well, I don't know about late game, but in mid-game team fights, because you rotate on the enemy ADC, you and the mid laner. Then, the enemy support and the enemy mid laner are coming too. Your hunter is Artemis. She runs in, you go, no, wait, don't pop your 2, don't go in yet, wait for Ra to clear the wave. Ra clears the wave, you give another 18% attack speed to your hunter for 3 seconds. On top of Artemis's 75% attack speed for 6 seconds. Like, that's insane, man. So now, early rotations against hunters with your mage. Your mage's just job is to clear the fucking wave in range of you while you're in range of your hunter. So now your hunter just has substantially more DPS. That's like an item for 3 seconds. And it also makes them have movement speed so that they can chase down the enemy. This is probably broken. Remove pen from tier 2 Fatalis. Like, why does this item have pen? Thought Freya didn't do enough damage late game? Here's 10 more free penetration. There you go. Oh, but it costs 10 more gold now. Yep. That's nice. One thing, though. If they went through and changed all the gold values, how do you miss an item? There are only so many items in Smite. Why didn't you just check every single one for their gold values? I don't get that. How can you miss items? I guess it just goes to show how much HiRez pays attention to their own fucking game. Anyway, Ethereal Staff, like we were talking about earlier, it was changed. I still don't know if it still does true damage. I haven't gone the PTS in the past couple days. Now it's 3 seconds to 10 seconds, so now it's fucking worthless, because it's only 2% of their max health every 10 seconds. Where... no. Think about it this way. Soul Reaver. albeit slightly more expensive and it gives different stats. 30-second. So 3 times the cooldown. So you would expect it to do 3 times the damage, so you expect it to do 6% of their max health. No, it does 15% true damage. And if this has been changed to be doing magic, non-true damage at 3 seconds, because they did fix it. So now this item is completely fucking worthless, and stats that don't make sense. You get health and CCR on an item that is strictly meant to do damage, both with the passive and the high damage amount. High power amount. Like, it has the stats problem of Soul Reaver, and it has the uselessness of having a high cooldown. Like, what? You can only do it once on ability, which is pretty damn good. Just nerf the power and make it do, like, not true damage. Boom, it's a great item. Or, like, make it cost more. Then you do it to 3 seconds. Okay, not really the smartest nerf, but, like, now it'll only affect characters like Habwa, or, like, combo gods, like Yanis or something. Now you made it to 10 seconds, now it's completely fucking worthless. I'm a casual pleb, and I realize that this is, like, strictly, completely inferior to Soul Reaver. Like, what? Indicate that there's true damage. Fuck, it took them long enough. Like, however long this item has been in the fucking game, and it hasn't told them it's done true damage, but, you know, it does. I thought for the longest time that it was indicating to me that, when I pressed Y... So, all these I just passed, except this one is actually a decent change. Because magical power is not equal to physical power. For every 1 physical power, it's about 2.5 magical power in gold value. So this just makes sense. What doesn't make sense is why 2 practically identical items for practically identical purposes, one of them has a tier 2 item, the other one doesn't. That pisses me off. Randa's Mask. You need 1 less kill to get the tier 1 stats, which is actually pretty significant. Pretty significant. This item I honestly think every jungler should be getting, just in case. Because it also procs off of assists. Gladiator Shield, 10 less power. Gladiator Shield is insane because it heals you from max HP and max mana just from hitting an ability. And it doesn't have a cooldown. Like, it's insane. Nerfing the power doesn't really do anything, but hey, still. They realize that it's fucking broken. But knowing HiRez, they're probably gonna go, it's slightly overtuned, let's completely remove it from the game, or completely rework it for no fucking reason. Sands of Time. What? Okay, let's think about this for a second. It gives, what is it, 5 MP5? 10 MP5? Regardless, you can only have... I honestly think it's impossible in Smite to have 0 mana. Because you're constantly regenerating. So yeah, it's actually impossible to have 0 mana. So, you can only have 9 of these stacks. So, at most, you're getting 14 MP5. Like, the MP5 in this item isn't even good. At least the passive percentage. It's the flat MP5 and the cooldown reduction that makes this item great. Why are you buffing an item that gives 10% CDR at level 1, man? Like, whatever. Spectral Armor, who cares? It's has the same problem as Enchile, where it has a cool sounding passive, but if a hunter basic attacks you once, it's gone for 90 seconds. Like, I don't know who thought this was a good idea. It should be like when you get crit, or when you get hit by an ability, or when you take physical damage that is more than 5% of your max HP, or your current HP, or something like that. Then this happens, so that it actually has a situation where it's useful, instead of just, oh, they hit me once, or, oh, I hit them and they had an Nemean Lion, so now this is gone. Pythagoras Piece. Now instead of giving 90 power, it gives 70 power. So it's still great. Now instead of giving... Okay, this was kind of insane how it gave 30% magic lifesteal to you. Which is crazy, especially on Anubis. It would literally cap you just with this one item with Anubis. Now it only gives you 24%. So now this is... But it still gives 200 mana, and it still gives 10% CDR, so it is still better than Bancroft's Talon. Oh, they made it equal with Pythag's piece. They finally recognized that it's just literally better than Bancroft's Talon in every way. Now, when you're at like 5% HP, you have 30% lifesteal, which is only 6% more than this. This gives you constant stats. This is situational. Not this little number, but if you're low on health with Bancrofts, it gives you additional power, capping at 25% and additional lifesteal. So actually, no, at a quarter health, you gain 30% lifesteal. If you're at a quarter health, you're probably dead anyway as a mage. So this Bancroft's Talon is still fucking useless. Spear of Desolation. Another situation where HiRez goes, hey, we fucked up, but we don't want to say we fucked up, so we're going to sort of revert it to the old way, but not really. So that it's better than the way that than the reworked version, but it's still kind of worse than the version in live. Earning a killer... Okay. Let's compare this to Rage. Rage. Earning a killer assist gives you 10% crit chance for 8 seconds. This one. Earning a killer assist subtracts 1 second from all abilities. Like, that's actually crazy. Not crazy good, but it's still like... How can you have an item in the game where getting a kill only gives you 10% crit chance? And then have an item in the game which the exact same proc, but doing something so much better than 10% crit chance. Like, I don't know, man. And the stats are fantastic. 80 power, 20 pen, and 10% CDR, which is amazing. But now, I'm interested to see how this will interact with Chronos Pendant. Will you just, like, always have 2 seconds less? That'd be funny. Stone of Gaia. Again, we're seeing a pattern here with Hercules, Spear of Desolation, and some other things, and now Stone of Gaia. We reworked it. The rework isn't good, so now let's make it feel like the old version. Except with Stone of Gaia, they're literally making it the old version on top of making it this. So now it's probably going to be highly overtuned because it has fantastic defense stats and regenerates 2% of your max health. And knock-up immunity. And regenerates this. So this is just like one of the best defense items in the game now. Soulstone no longer provides mana when consuming stacks. Okay, what's the reasoning for this? More of a direct power item. So now, who would ever buy this as a starter item? Because you need sustain. And yeah, the passive is broken, but like, now it literally gives you nothing but power. Okay, I guess this will never be picked up again as a starter item. Swift Wing, this should have been, in effect, it's a miniature Jingwei ultimate. Like, I just don't get why this wasn't a thing when it first came into the game. To-do! Oh wow, they have a to-do list. Interesting. Is it fix Hercules? Is it make Hell playable again? Is it fix our items instead of just removing them from the fucking game? Which items are banned in which game mode? Oh, great! Because that's so important. Making sure people can't get... Where is it? The MP5 item in Assault. Dude, that's so important, man. That's really gonna... Dude, that's gonna, like, destroy the meta, dude. Make additional adjustments to Scotty. I mean, you nerfed her in the same patch, so... I mean, I hope you're not just gonna nerf her again, because, you know, one casual wrecked your 5-man HiRez squad going 20-0 because you guys suck at the game and have no idea what's going on. Now you just gotta nerf her because you hate her now. New Conquest Jungle Buff being updated in color and name. What? Who? What? Who cares, man? This is your to-do list? For Season 4? After all the things you screwed up? Your to-do list now, you're like, oh, everything's done. It's all perfect. Everything is fantastic. 100% perfect. Now, all we need to do is nerf Scotty again. Ban fucking Soulstone and Assault. And make the new buff orange instead of purple. I hate you, HiRez. I absolutely hate you.